Hey, and welcome. Thank you for joining today. I'm going to read from Jeremiah 2:13 through 19, and you will want something to read along with because I'm going to paraphrase in some places and kind of explain as we go. So, starting in Jeremiah 2, verse 13. My people have committed two sins. They have forsaken me, the spring of living water, and have dug their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background. So, Israel has broken their covenant relationship with God, and instead of looking to God as their main source of help, they have been worshiping other gods, and they have been asking for help from other countries and trusting in other countries. And so God is comparing that to turning away from living water and instead turning to cisterns. And then he goes on and says, Is Israel a servant, a slave by birth? Why then has he become plunder? Lions have roared, they have growled at him, they have laid waste his land. His towns are burned and deserted. Also the men of Memphis and Tahpanhes have cracked your skull. So he's listing all of these consequences that have come on them, these things that have happened to them. And then he says, Have you not brought this on yourselves by forsaking the Lord your God when he led you in the way? This is your fault. Why would you go to Egypt to drink water from the Nile? And why go to Assyria to drink water from the Euphrates? Now, God is not saying that they're literally traveling to these places and doing that. He is using it as an illustration that it is like they have turned to the water of those countries for their source. And then he says, Your wickedness will punish you. Your backsliding will rebuke you. Consider then and realize how evil and bitter it is for you when you forsake the Lord your God and have no awe of me, declares the Lord Almighty. And I really find that word picture funny, to think of turning from living water to cisterns. So living water, back in this time, they would have understood that to be spring water. So imagine flowing water that's cool and it's consistent and it's always flowing, so it's not stagnant, less likely to be contaminated. And instead, these people were turning to a cistern, which would have been a pit that was dug in the ground, and it collected rainwater, which was stagnant. It just sat there, a lot more likely to be contaminated, and it wouldn't taste very good. And if the rain was not consistent, it could run out. And if a crack was in the cistern, it wasn't going to hold any water at all. So it would be like turning from clear, clean water that's dependable to something as dirty as something like this, which I did get from a rainwater cistern type thing. And why in the world would you want to drink this when you could drink this? Why in the world? Do you see my little friend? There's a slug in this. There's two, actually. There's a big one and then there's a little baby one. That's disgusting and stupid. But it's honestly what we do sometimes ourselves when we turn from God and we try to find our main source of satisfaction in something else besides God. So like for me, it was relationships with people and their affirmation of me, things like that. And that's never going to satisfy you completely. You might feel good one day, and then the next you're not really going to. It's not dependable. You can't trust it all the time. Same thing with maybe in your life, it could be a habit that's sinful. It could be something that's good, like entertainment, that you're counting on to satisfy you. Anything. It could be possessions, the next paycheck, the next accomplishment you make at work or school. Any relationship, whether it's good or not, is besides the point. If you're counting on it as your main source of satisfaction, then you are drinking and hoping that you're going to find something that will satisfy you, but it won't. Not forever. And it's like drinking out of a dirty cistern. don't do it. So why do we do it though? And why is it so hard to give up something like this? I would say it's because this is what we know. It's safe. It's been our life. And it takes a level of trust to give it up and to count that this will satisfy us, that God will satisfy us. So it does take a level of trust to give up the cistern you're drinking out of and to believe that God is enough and that He can satisfy you. But that's what you have to do. He is the God of the universe. And you have to trust that He is enough for you, that He can satisfy you, that you can be truly satisfied. And why would you think He couldn't satisfy you? He's the God of the universe who loves you more than anyone else, who has more to offer you than anyone else or anything else. And He is trustworthy, and He is more deserving of your complete devotion than anything else. Let me pray for you. Lord, I pray right now for this person, and I ask that you would give them a spirit of humility and surrender. Lord, search their heart. Show them the cisterns they are drinking out of. And I pray that you would help them to give it up and to trust you as their only and primary source of satisfaction. And I pray that you would bring true satisfaction into their life through a deep and personal relationship with you. And if they don't know you, I pray that they would reach out for forgiveness right now. That they would turn away from their cisterns and turn to you, the only one who can save and satisfy us. It's in your name I pray. Amen. And I want to thank you for joining me again this week. And if you are not subscribed to KMBC's YouTube channel, go ahead and do that, because this is something that I'm going to be doing every week, and you will get notified if you subscribe when these videos come out. So next week, we are going to be talking about discovering and finding and following God's will for your life, which I know is a big struggle when you're in high school and middle school, and honestly, even throughout the rest of your life. So subscribe to our channel, and then I will see you next week.